What does the Bible really say about hell? Today we're going to be taking a look at Daniel 12:2, which is an Old Testament passage which believers in eternal conscious torment often quote in support for their position. However, upon closer examination, this verse does not turn out to be support for their position. Daniel 12:2 reads as follows: "And many of those who sleep in the dust of the earth shall awake, some to everlasting life, and some to shame and everlasting contempt." Out of the two groups of people, only one is said to awake to everlasting life, and it therefore follows that the other group will awake to everlasting non-life or death. So how then do we explain everlasting contempt? Well, first of all, I want you to notice that the word everlasting only qualifies the word contempt. It does not qualify the word shame. The contempt is said to be everlasting, while the shame is not. Shame describes the experience of the wicked at the judgment, since their evil deeds will be exposed. Eternal contempt, on the other hand, is not a feeling experienced by the wicked, but rather experienced by the righteous. The Hebrew word deraon, translated contempt here in Daniel 12:2, is used in only one other place in the entire Old Testament, and that's in Isaiah 66:24. Just to give a little bit of context to Isaiah 66:24, let's read verses 15 and 16. "For behold, the Lord will come in fire, and his chariots like the whirlwind, to render his anger and fury, and his rebuke with flames of fire. For by fire will the Lord enter into judgment, and by his sword with all flesh, and those slain by the Lord shall be many. And they, the righteous, those who belong to God, shall go out and look on the dead bodies which God has just slain, of the men who have rebelled against me. For their worm shall not die, and their fire shall not be quenched." Now, if you want to learn more about the worm and the fire, you can go see my video on that on my page, and I invite you to do that. "And they shall be an abhorrence to all flesh." Now, notice the word in yellow here, abhorrence. This is the only other instance in the entire Old Testament where the Hebrew word deraon, which is translated as contempt in Daniel 12:2, is used. And in this instance, the abhorrence, the contempt, is an experience of the righteous when looking upon the dead bodies of God's slain enemies. The enemies aren't even alive to experience us looking at them with contempt. And they don't need to. Just like Adolf Hitler doesn't need to be alive for us to hold him in contempt. So in sum, Daniel 12:2 is simply saying that one group will awake to eternal life, while the other group will experience shame and judgment and will be eternally remembered in contempt by the righteous after being slain by the Lord, never to live again.